You paid extra for that ethical shirt. Organic cotton, carbon neutral shipping, a brand promising to save the planet. But what if the real cost wasn't environmental? What if the real cost was someone's freedom? Hidden deep in the global supply chain, far beyond the polished marketing pages, lies a system of forced labor, debt bondage, and invisible workers powering the very brands that promise sustainability. Tonight, we follow the pipeline behind the labels. And the truth might make you question what ethical fashion really means.
The sustainable fashion industry sells a powerful idea that you can shop your way into saving the world. Eco-friendly fabrics, carbon-neutral factories, ethical sourcing. The global sustainable fashion market is projected to exceed hundreds of billions of dollars. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most clothing brands only monitor Tier 1 suppliers, the final factories assembling garments. What they rarely reveal are the Tier 2 and Tier 3 supply chains. The cotton farms, the spinning mills, the dye houses, the places where labor protections are weakest and exploitation is easiest to hide. This is where the illusion begins to collapse. Investigations by labor watchdog groups and journalists have repeatedly uncovered a disturbing pattern. Behind many ethical garments are complex labor pipelines spanning multiple countries. Cotton harvested in one region, thread spun in another, fabric dyed elsewhere, garments assembled thousands of miles away. And at certain points in that chain, workers are trapped in systems of debt bondage. Recruitment agents charge fees, workers borrow money to secure jobs, passports are confiscated, and suddenly leaving becomes impossible. In these factories, the workers making ethical fashion often earn less than survival wages.
In recent years, governments have begun demanding supply chain transparency. New regulations in the United States and Europe require companies to report where materials come from and whether forced labor is involved. These laws have forced brands to examine parts of their supply chains they previously ignored. And what investigators discovered shocked even industry insiders. Factories connected to global brands were sourcing materials from regions linked to coercive labor systems. Workers housed in dormitories, movement restricted, wages withheld, sometimes under the justification of economic development programs. But critics argue these systems function more like industrial-scale forced labor pipelines.
But why do these brands continue to thrive? The answer lies in a powerful psychological phenomenon: ethical consumerism. When people buy products labeled sustainable or ethical, they experience what psychologists call moral satisfaction. The purchase becomes more than a transaction. It becomes a moral statement. But marketing experts know this. Green branding often focuses heavily on environmental messaging, recycled fabrics, carbon neutrality, biodegradable packaging. Labor conditions, however, are far more complicated and far less visible.
To be fair, many companies argue that the issue isn't simple. Global supply chains are massive. A single clothing item may involve dozens of suppliers across multiple countries. Brands claim they conduct audits. They publish transparency reports. They require suppliers to follow labor codes. But critics say these audits often fail. Factories prepare in advance, workers are coached on what to say, and violations disappear the moment inspectors leave. In short, the system is built in a way that makes true accountability extremely difficult.
So here lies the brutal paradox. The same industry promising ethical consumption may still rely on hidden exploitation. Consumers pay more, believing they're supporting fairness and sustainability. Yet somewhere deep in the supply chain, a worker might still be trapped in conditions not far removed from modern slavery. The label may be green, but the system behind it is anything but.
This doesn't mean sustainable fashion is meaningless. Transparency laws, investigative journalism, and consumer pressure are forcing change. But the reality is far more complicated than a label. Ethical fashion isn't just about organic fabric. It's about who made it, and under what conditions. Because the next time you buy a shirt promising to save the planet, you might want to ask a harder question. Who paid the real price? What do you think? Is sustainable fashion genuine progress, or just greenwashing with better marketing? Are you team transparency or team skepticism? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into hidden systems behind global industries, don't forget to like and subscribe.